freezing inside. Feel no pain, empty chest, and you think it's for the best. Lost cause of pride, cowards on to right. Close your eyes, just like your mind. I won't let myself become just like you. Pointing fingers, it's all you ever do. This time, this one's for you. Petrified, terrified, your life is purified. Human being in disguise, but you still smell like a bitch. You're so smart, hide your heart to gain some peace of mind. You're so right in your eyes, to pleasure your blind. I won't let myself become just like you. Pointing fingers, it's all you ever do. This time, this one's for you. This one's for you. Found the perfect way. You no longer exist. You're no longer in my
Welcome to AfterMat, your source for WWE PLE recaps. I am your host, the Secret Boss Cal, and alongside me, as always, I have my tag team partner, the EST Delisha. What's going on, Delisha?
Hello, hello. Not another Monday, but a Tuesday recap for a special edition, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, yesterday was Memorial Day, so we decided to take off for that. So I know people might have been home for that, but it's okay. We got to press on, enjoy one day off, and then come back to it. And today we'll be talking about Clash in Paris, which is, I guess, the final PLE, WWE main roster PLE that's going to be held on the Peacock Network. After this is moving to the ESPN thing, but apparently still the NXT PLEs will be held on Peacock. So I guess it's going to be all weird and stuff. Things are going to be all jumbled around. I don't know how I feel about that, but I guess we'll see if we have access to the ESPN thing, because I know if you have a regular like cable subscribing thing and you have ESPN in your bundle, you could watch it and stuff like that. So I guess we'll find out like that. In live Hulu, I think live get it also. Verizon people get it. Bunch of other people get it. I just can't remember who the whole list was. So make sure you check your provider to see if you get the ESPN app. It's not the regular ESPN app. It's like a ESPN Direct consumer app. That's what it's called. DC, like ESPN. But I think it goes around this. Or I don't know. It's all confusing because they also have ESPN Plus, which is not ESPN Plus. So make sure you guys like check out what you have. But yeah, this is the final thing for Peacock, which I thought was fun. It's nice having on Peacock, and like it was a good like value for most people, I believe, because it had a lot of good content on Peacock as well as having PLEs on it. So you know, I know people in like outside the United States have the best because everything's on Netflix for them. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, everything's on Netflix for them. So I wish it was like that for us, but it's not. I guess it's just streaming rights deals are different all around the world. So I wish we had that luxury, but we don't. But yeah, today, today is Clash of Paris. I guess we're going through our like round of a bunch of middle, like, you know, buffer PLEs, you want to call them, like such as like Fast Lane and all that kind of stuff. You know, I consider like the main, obviously, you know, the big four, but for the main ones, I usually consider like Hell in a Cell, Money in the Bank, stuff like that. Like the other ones that are like not the big four, but they're like one of the considered the major ones for in my eyes. This is one of those ones that they just added in last year for what was it, Clash at the Castle. Now it's Clash in Paris, I guess he'll change to different.
I think this might be number 3 because I think wasn't it like Scotland and then one was in Wales
Maybe,
and
yeah.
then
Yeah, so whatever it is, it's following that trend, and but we love the French audience. They've always been really good, and they did not disappoint this time around. What'd you think of the PLE like itself, the card going into it? Were you happy with the card? Where you didn't really care? What?
yeah, I thought it was fine. Should on paper should have been some like solid matches for a yeah, actually, and then I think this was the we hadn't had a PLE on a Sunday outside of NXT in a while either.
Mm-hmm.
So that was also I had to remind myself to that it was coming up.
Well, aside from SummerSlam night 2, WrestleMania night 2.
Well,
yeah, like standalones. You mean standalones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the time thing is weird too because it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon when it started. So like I know it's night there for them in France, but I was like, oh, like my barbecue started at 2, so like I was like right when I got there, like normally my cousin puts up a big giant screen and we can watch it there, but like during the daytime that you can't really see well on the projector outside, so there was no point in setting up the screen. So I was like, I'll just watch it when I the next day when I like on Memorial Day. But anyway, let's start off. And for me, actually, at the card, I only really cared about Cena match and the World Championship match. And then I thought Roman match was cool, but like I was as much as I love Roman, I kind of want to see Bronson Reed win because I feel like that faction needs kind of some wins now. But outside of Seth Rollins. But let's start off. There was a pre-show match. The pre-show match was the said World Heavyweight Championship match, starring pre-show Jey Uso, Max Dupree, CM Punk, and the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins in a fatal 4-way match. It started out with all 4 men in the ring. I guess on SmackDown, Jey Uso had super kicked CM Punk at the end of the closeout SmackDown or whatever. So he started the match out by super kicking Jey Uso out of the ring, and then Rollins just kind of looked shocked and rolled out of the ring, forcing CM Punk and LA Knight to go out at it for a while. Then Seth Rollins just started beating up everyone individually, like taking time like on each of them while they fought each other. He'd sneak up and do an attack, then go after somebody else, sneak up and do an attack. And then eventually the other 3 challengers got wise to it. They all turned and joined forces, starting to beat the hell out of what do you call it? Seth Rollins. And then they had this little shtick where they like said, let's get the tables. And they got the tables, and before they could put Seth Rollins to the table, Jey Uso once again super kicked CM Punk, and then like he started teaming up with Max Dupree, and eventually they all started fighting back and forth. They went into the ring, out of the ring. I think Rollins had a pedigree earlier on, and then he also started fighting. Like everyone was kind of separated at this point, where like CM Punk was pedigreed in the middle of the ring, Max Dupree was on the corner, turnbuckle getting beaten up, and I think Jey Uso was on the outside. Eventually, Punk and Rollins got onto the apron and started fighting each other. But that's when they were fighting each other on the apron, and then Rollins got thrown off. That's when LA Knight came and slung himself into CM Punk, putting him through the table, which didn't really break that well. It kind of like just cracked and like collapsed, didn't break. And that's back, like a callback to what happened, like, I guess, last week on SmackDown as well, or 2 weeks ago on SmackDown when Punk accidentally put Max Dupree through a table. Rollins went for a stomp, but Dupree countered into a BFT. Then Jey Uso stopped the pin, finally getting back into the ring. Then Uso went for a spear, but then Rollins did that same spot where he catches somebody in this pedigree while they're doing a spear. That's always a good thing. Then he stomped Dupree again, stomped Uso, and they're both out of the ring. Then they all got back into the ring again and started fighting. Max Dupree took advantage. I forgot who it was. I think it might have been Jey Uso to the outside, put him on a table, or was it Rollins? It's either Rollins or Jey Uso. He got to the top, jumped off the table, but onto the natural table, French announcer's table, and Uso, whoever it was on the table, rolled out of the way, and Dupree went to the table, pretty much taking him out of the match. Uso then got stomped again. No, Uso was laying on the outside. Sorry. That's when Punk got into the ring. He got stomped. Then Rollins was to the outside and stomped Jey Uso. Then he went to the other side where Dupree was recovering and stomped him there too, leaving. Then he came back into the ring, leaving him and Punk into the together. That little time gave Punk enough time to hit the GTS. Or no, he set Punk up's head on the chair, went for another stomp on the chair. Punk moved out of the way, and then Punk hit the GTS, and then collapsed. And Rollins bounced off the rope, came back to Punk. Punk picked him up for the second GTS, and this is when he delayed himself. And I forgot to mention before the match, Michael Cole and everyone kept saying how alone Rollins is going to be, how alone Rollins is going to be because there's no one in his corner, Well, at that point, a masked figure comes up behind him, gives him behind CM Punk as he has Rollins up in the GTS, and low blows CM Punk. CM Punk collapses, starts to crawl after the masked figure, who happens to be Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins' real life wife. As he's crawling after Becky Lynch, Rollins bounces off the rope, does another stomp, and goes for the pin and gets the 1-2-3 to win the match. Becky Lynch now interfering in this will probably cause someone else to come out of retirement and help CM Punk. And what do you think about all this, Alicia?
Yeah, I thought the match was pretty good. I feel like every time I kind of get like in a lull with Seth, he does something. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember why you're Seth freaking Rollins. Because I think he presented himself really well in this match. Which of course you're expected, especially him giving his veteran status. And again, I mean, I think I wanted to say the hype on Jey Uso was dying down, but clearly not because the crowd is with him every single week. But it's dying down for me, I should say. Mainly just the way he gets booked. I don't think it has to do 100% with him necessarily. And then with LA Knight, I'm kind of iffy on him most times anyway. More like 50-50. Could leave it or take it, for lack of a better word. And then, but because like the real feud here is Punk and Seth, which will never die, apparently, until one of them actually dies. And like we all knew someone was going to get involved, especially when they kept emphasizing how Braun and Bronson were taken out and things like that, and so you need someone to get involved. Because Becky and Seth are absolute liars. I wasn't expecting Becky because they have said previously, not recent, I don't remember when this was, that they didn't want to work together. Well, not that they didn't want to work together, they liked having it separate a little bit. But obviously that was a lie.
Right. Yeah.
But no, it's really fun. I like them together because they are just absolute craftsmen at this whole wrestling thing. And of course, Becky is a superstar. Seth is a superstar. And now to see what they could do a little bit together. I mean, we've seen a little bit, but that was with Baron Corbin and what's her face, Lacey Evans. Like, but to potentially have it be an AJ Lee return, which people have been clamoring for years, especially with the new revised WWE. Hopefully, that actually is something that will happen. And just all four of them together on the mic and in the ring should produce magic.
Right. This is very much shades of like Cena and Bella when they were together against Miz and Maurice. Very much the same as that. And I think it has already been scheduled for. I mean, on the dirt sheet, it's already been scheduled for a WrestlePalooza where AJ and CM Punk will face Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins in a match at WrestlePalooza.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't been.
Yeah.
We haven't seen
Yeah.
yet. So that sounds like, I mean, they've all signed sports towards it, but I'm just like, it's like I'll believe it when I see it type of deal.
Well, I think next, like I think CM Punk said he'll be at SmackDown because it's in Chicago, and I'm guessing obviously AJ Lee will be in SmackDown. She might be in the audience cheering him on, and then she'll jump the barricade to like fight, whatever. But that's what I think. All right, I'm excited for that. I love AJ Lee. She's a Jersey native, so I have to support her, and I loved her anyway. So, all right, now to actually kick off the show was Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed.
Yeah, of course, this is all stemming from Bronson taking Roman's shoes and turning it into the shoe of Fala and naming himself the tribal thief, which I just always found hilarious, especially with Heyman being able to sell that in promos and things like that. And I got to literally sell it on T-shirts. But this we started off with the main show with two horses, I guess, going on. Do we consider Roman Reigns like a horse? Because he's
I
considered like
guess. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I would say so. I would if Bobby the Brain Heenan was on there, he would probably say Hoss or Ham and Egger.
yeah. I mean, he's a big guy, right?
Yeah.
Just slimmer than Bronson. But yeah, and it pretty much gave what you were expecting in this match. So we're actually, I feel like Bronson got a lot more offense in where we had Roman playing defense, because Bronson is literally the bigger guy. I don't know who's stronger. I'm not in the weight room with them. I don't know, but but it was good for a lot of we saw. I mean, if you've watched Bronson Reed, then you're not surprised. But maybe this was your first time to be one of those athletic big dudes to where he can do like clotheslines off the top rope or dive through the ropes to hit his opponents. I'm pretty sure it hurts a lot more coming from him. um, but we did some other moves he was able to pull off was like what is it called? A uranagi? Am I
Yeah,
saying
the
that right?
Uranagi, yeah. Michael Cole couldn't say the word, and then like Wade Barrett had to correct him. That's funny.
Michael Cole was me in that instance. The uranagi into a senton, and then at one point giving him like one of those like Death Valley drivers, and which one of his signature moves outside of a Samoan drop was like the sit up power bomb, and then like I said, diving from the through the ropes to hit his opponents. I believe uh, Bronson was trying to get him up for one of his um, tsunamis as a finisher to finish off Roman, but he would I don't know if he jumped up or just got up to give him a Samoan drop from the top rope, which I guess they call it an avalanche Samoan drop, which I didn't know. But apparently that's what they call it. What
Well,
they
yeah,
call it.
any move off the top, like when Cena does it off the top or Cody Rhodes does it off the top, it's called an avalanche.
Oh, okay.
Any move, any move.
Gotcha. Maybe it's one of those times that it like just keyed into my ear that that's what they were saying. And then but Bronson got up and yeah, I guess and I thought he was like, oh, I mean, he's not gonna go down so easily. But Roman would then also deliver the spear, which would end the match, giving Reigns the win. But that wasn't the end for these two. I believe Bronson was like over in the corner, and I don't know if Paul was already in the ring or if he was pretending to like Bronson. But then like Roman like got in the ring. Of course, Heyman being the like sniveling coward that he is, immediately goes into the whole "I love you, Tribal Chief," throw up the ones, where all Roman wanted was his shoes back, which he promptly did. And then he would put Heyman into a guillotine chokehold, choking him out. And then he ushered over one of the stage crew people to cut off the ropes that were around the shoes so he could like. Well, I thought he was just going to take them with him, but he, after some trouble with a few pens, was signing them to throw into the audience, which I thought was pretty cool. But then he would probably regret that because had he just gone backstage, he would have been able to avoid a spear from Braun Breaker, who came through and speared him through the table. I believe he did that 2 or 3 times at different times, to where he also got him back in the ring and also took a few tsunamis as well. And it looks like they were going for another one in which Roman was still on a stretcher that the medical team brought out when Jey Uso would come out to help save him, which would set up some other things I'll talk about in a second. But of course, that takes Roman out for a few days, a week. I don't know how long. That's what he just does. He just comes, does a match, and then the bad guys beat him up, and he's out for a while. So that's kind of the cycle we're in Roman right now. Although he did state, I think, on SmackDown, or no, on Raw or either last week or the week before, that he does want to get himself back in the title picture. So of course we know that's coming at some point down the pipeline. But I was sitting there confused when Jay came out because, like you said, one, he has a world title match coming out. Why? Well, we know why, because family. But I was like, wait a minute, isn't Sammy there? Isn't Jimmy there? Like, why didn't one of them come out? Because they're fresh and free and don't have a match that night to come and save them. But it was all just to get Jay if he did not have to be 100% for that match. But I just thought that was funny that no one else in the family who's on Roman's side wanted to come out and help.
Yeah, they're just gonna use it as something like, "Oh, Seth, you didn't beat me like when I was 100%, so you should give me a shot." And that's what's gonna be end up being.
Probably.
For me, like this match, well, I thought the post match stuff was longer than the match itself. The match was good. I really want to see Bronson Reed win, though. As much as I love Roman Reigns, I want to see Bronson Reed win because I feel like that faction needs some victories aside from Seth Rollins. But I guess you're just gonna put it all on Braun Breaker then to have him win all those things. But yeah, the whole thing afterwards took so long. I was like, why is this still going on? Why is it still going on? Like, and obviously, yeah, you're right. It's to keep Roman off the TV for however long until I guess Survivor Series, I'm assuming. So yeah, he's running. He's doing. Understandably so. He's still fighting his cancer and all that. So he's working the lighter schedule and stuff like that. But we do have people like Brock Lesnar coming back, and I think that's going to be at either WrestlePalooza or Survivor Series. So I guess we'll see what happens here. But yeah, it was a good match. Like Bronson Reed is very athletic for being a big man, so it's always fun to watch that. And like I love Roman Reigns. So.
Also, a great theme song.
Who?
Bronson.
I don't even know what his theme song is, to be honest.
Oh, I mean, it gives like Godzilla vibes.
Oh, really? I gotta listen to it then. I gotta watch this just to see. I gotta watch it again just to see this, or maybe just look up his theme. I guess. All right. The next match was for the WWE Tag Team titles. I think that's what they're called. Yeah. Featuring the WWE Tag Team Champions, the Wyatt Six, represented by Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis, against the Street Profits. The Street Profits came out to wearing Borderlands inspired gear because Borderlands 4 comes out on September 20th, which I think I'll be getting. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see that. And then the Wyatt Six came out to what they normally came out, but this time the crowd sang their song, which is pretty cool. The Bray Wyatt. Then they had a Bray Wyatt chant after the song went off. And then as the match starts, then Gacy starts in the ring, and Montez Ford usually starts in the ring, and then gets like the hot tag to Angelo Dawkins. But before Montez can start the match, Angelo Dawkins puts his hand in front of him and pushes him back, saying, "I'm gonna go." So kind of like some dissension starting amongst the two members of Street Profits. So there's some good back and forth action at first, and then like Joe Gacy tags in Dexter Lumis, who's a smaller, quicker of the two, and that makes Montez Ford want to get into the ring, and he like does a blind tag to Montez Ford. To Angelo Dawkins. Angelo Dawkins didn't like it, but Montez makes a cool entrance to the ring, doing like a front forward flip into the ring, gets the crowd all pumped up, and then they just do some back and forth acrobatics, and then like Dexter Lumis pulls off the weird stuff, which makes like Montez Ford kind of like back up and be like, whoa. But other than that, like there's not that really many highlight spots other than the normal spots you'll see with like the double team moves and the over the top turnbuckle dive that Montez Ford does. Angelo Dawkins also did have a somersault flip over the top rope. And this match just showed off the athleticism of all four members in the ring. Even Joe Gacy is a bigger guy too. Is very athletic as well. So them going back and forth, it was really cool to see. And there's a lot of awesome athleticism. But not like any big spots other than the ones I just mentioned there. The one thing at the end though, how it ended was when after Montez Ford did his flip out of over the turnbuckle and knocked the two members out. He started walking towards the ring, and he came. Oh, well, first Angelo Dawkins got face to face with like Eric Rowan, and then like that's when Montez Ford did the flip over, hitting them both, I believe. And then as Montez Ford was going back into the ring, Montez Ford was going back to the ring. Nikki Cross was underneath the ring, under the apron, and she grabbed his leg, and he got distracted, like what's going on, and then I think at this point the Gacy and Dexter Lumis were also distracting the referee, allowing Uncle Howdy to come down and hit the Sister Abigail onto Montez Ford, roll him back into the ring, and then Gacy and Lumis hit their finisher on Montez Ford to get the pin, and the Y6 retained. So like I said, not many big spots. Those are the few ones I mentioned, but it's a very athletic match. It really showed off the athleticism of all them four members of the match. What do you think, Delisha?
Yeah, I thought the match was fine. It was I think it was one of those that didn't count. Well, not didn't count. Didn't seem like PLE worthy. Like if this was the main event on SmackDown, it would have been fine. But we hadn't had them featured much in the PLE scene, so I wouldn't want to take that away from them. But I feel like it's fine. I'm not quite sure what the tension between Angela and Montez is supposed to be because we haven't seen that in a while. I mean, I know they teased it maybe like a year ago, a year or two ago, with them two slowly building up, which was understandable then. So I don't know why it'll be happening now. Besides, they could just chalk it up to being frustrated. But I mean, I personally don't want them to like break up. I mean, if they want to both have their own singles push, fine. But every time that happens, it doesn't have to involve a breakup. Because I feel like it's just one of the cliches in wrestling that we don't have to follow all the time. But we'll see. Because like I said, they teased the split up before. It didn't happen, so we'll just have to see. But everyone knows Montez is a star, and I think Dawkins could hold his own as well. Especially in the last 2 years, he showed that he could be someone to get behind. But I mean, come on, clearly Montez is destined for great things, great singles things. And then the Y6
Yeah,
is there.
I think I like Montez Ford. I think he has the potential of being a star. I mean, like he is a star in tag team, but like I hate seeing tag teams break up just to make one guy better. But like I guess it worked for Shawn Michaels, so I work for everybody else too. So what?
I was just gonna say it was cool to see the scope of this I guess arena
Oh yeah.
during the I don't know what they call it, but just the Montez motion as they come out
Yeah.
to this song. So that was just a cool visual to see.
And then like it failed with pre-show Jey Uso because he went from being a main event tag teamer with his brother to and the Bloodline to being in pre-shows now. So it doesn't work for him.
Yeah, which apparently he took the whole like up and down hand motion from Montez. Apparently, I don't remember, but apparently Montez was doing that down in NXT, but I don't remember. And then Jay started doing
I
it.
mean,
But
a lot of hip hop people have been doing it for like centuries
no,
now.
I just
So
meant
yeah.
in the terms of Carl versus the patient in wrestling, just in that particular instance, not overall, but in that particular instance, I was like, oh man, but he was able to get something else over, so it worked out in favor.
All right. The next match is for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, featuring the Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch against Nikki Bella.
Yeah, so this match, I was curious about just because I think we had only seen Nikki in the one match at Evolution, right? And then before that, we hadn't seen her since I think the previous Evolution. As far as singles in ring competition, it started out a little slow, and you could tell that Nikki was a little rusty, which the commentators were emphasizing. So I don't know if they were just trying to help cover that up or just they, I don't know, but they kept emphasizing how long it's been since she's been in a singles ring and emphasizing that. But like I said, it was very slow, a little bit off-putting. But then I personally think that Nikki started to like match more of Becky's intensity, especially during the one spot where she had Becky on the outside of the ring and was like slamming her head into the ring post, but from the outside, not on the inside, and then gave her the I think it's just called the Bella Buster onto the steel steps, which I thought that was just a really good spot, especially I guess as the match was like heating up. I think, and then I believe they tried to they both had to do some submissions with Becky doing the disarmor, and then I don't remember if what Bella's submission.
The fearless lock, which is just
Fearless
the
Lock, yeah.
SDF,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, she puts it on better than her ex. I'll give her that. Or it looks more like a submission than what he does. Um, but yeah, I believe, and then after that outside tussle onto the steel steps, I think Nikki gave her own manhandle slam, and then tried to get her to the disarmer, but then Becky countered it into a roll up, and that was how the match ended, which was a little disappointing for me because I was like, at that point, I was like, oh, this match is like pretty good, and then it was over. I mean, obviously, the right woman won. Like we didn't need a Nikki Bella IC title run, but I thought it was a good little side quest, I suppose, for Becky to get into. And like I said, even though the match started off pretty good, I think the middle portion was, pretty slow. I feel like the middle portion was pretty good, and then but that quick roll up kind of set it back down for me. Um, but otherwise, I do think they worked well together, and I don't think this is going to be the last we see of Nikki. I think she is kind of on that like limited, um, I guess Hall of Famer part time run going on for her, which I think is fine. We don't
Yeah,
need her like any type of full time status. Just popping in and out. And again, she has crowd support behind her, so why not use her?
welcome, entertained. How are you doing? Yeah. To be honest, I fell asleep before this match even started, and I woke up and just saw the pin. But like, I saw some highlights on Twitter, and
So
I saw
you
there's.
alone, right?
I'm not even highlights. There were lowlights. I saw like Becky Lynch and them mess up a bunch. So like, I saw a lot of like botches on the Twitter, lowlights, I guess you want to call them. Like she went for like Nikki Bella went for a disaster kick and completely missed like um Becky Lynch. She was like 4 feet away from her. Like it was really bad. But yeah, I like that. Who was we announcing? Wade Barrett. He calls the new pin Lynch pin, which is pretty cool. Lynch pin, that's a pretty cool name. So that's the only part I saw, really, to be honest. And I wasn't really interested in this match anyway, so it didn't really matter to me. But from what I thought, it was a terrible match. From what I saw, but like you said, there's some good points, I guess. But I don't think I'll probably go back and watch it. I think it's right as of now. I'm only gonna go watch Bronson Reed's theme song first, and the Montez Ford thing that you're talking about when he comes out and they see the scope of the arena. But that's probably gonna go back and watch. All right, the next match was the Donnybrook, good old fashioned Donnybrook match, I think they called it, featuring Sheamus and Rusev.
Yeah. So this was well, I can't call it a best of seven series. I think this is only like their third or fourth match since Rusev came back. But if Adam Pearce is to be believed, this was supposed to be like a big blow off for their feud they've been having for like the last 2 months. And I think that with the intensity that these two have been like going after and fighting each other, um, they was like, hey, a good old Donnybrook, which is like Sheamus is now like signature match. I think it's like the third or fourth one he's done in the last couple of years, and usually that means some brutality is going to ensue. And boy, they were not wrong. When you think of like no DQ bar fight match as gimmick as you can get in WWE, like they uh delivered, especially with Sheamus being so white. Of course, any weapons used against him will show on that body. But you were seeing kendo sticks being used. Of course, you're going to see Sheamus's shillelagh. We had Sheamus doing the 10 beats of the Bodhrán?
Valorant.
Balor. Sorry to my Irish folks out there. On, I think it was like on the barrels that they had set up outside of the ring. And um, excuse me, Rusev was using like the steel chairs and of course also using like the Kindle tips and things like that. Uh, I think Sheamus did the 10 beats like once or twice, and then it's just interesting because of course because they're in French, they're gonna speak and like count in French. So it was just fun to hear like the whole like stadium just speaking, shouting to 10 or in French. I just thought that was fun. I remember Sheamus went after Rusev with one of the Kindle spots to I think he trying to hit him like in the ribs or whatever. Um, and then sent him off to the steel steps. through the little wooden bar that they had set up, because of course you gotta have one of those. Um, and then I think Sheamus did the like white noise. No, he did like a camera clutch into the white noise, driving them from the whiskey barrels, like or into the whiskey barrels that they had set up through the tables that they had off to the side as well. And then I remember Sheamus countered one. I think Rusev was trying to get I think was trying to get him set up for one of the Rusev locks, but of course you gotta and the counter that to a bro kick, and then to counter that, or not counter that, but like after he get enough from that, Rusev like basically breaks the shillelagh across Sheamus's back. That almost ended the match right there, but somehow Sheamus kicked out. Um, but Rusev would take that shillelagh and use it as like a brittle. Is that what you call the thing in the horse's mouth? And then put him into the accolade. And it looked like Sheamus was going to get out of it by getting his feet for underneath him, but Rusev would like pull it back to where um, Sheamus had no other way out but to tap. I think all in all, this was one of the great like brutal a way you can do brutal matches without having to do like blood spots, which wouldn't warrant it. It's fine, but they also show you can do brutality in such a way with weapons that you're just like, oh my gosh, or like jumping like each and every time they do something fearsome. But you can also tell that I mean, not surprised that these two work really well together because one, they're friends and they've been doing this for a long, long time. But I think that this might have been one of the better matches of the night, and it definitely had the crowd's backing behind it too, as they were into it from start to finish. Was this a match you were able to get into?
Well, I fell asleep during this match also. So, but I did wake up for the ending. For some reason, I'm like I get to wake up for the ending, and I saw them get on top of the barrels, and then like they do like the slam off the the white noise off the barrels. That was pretty cool to see. I definitely want to go back and watch this because apparently Dave Meltzer gave it 5 stars, and he never gives anything to WWE 5 stars. So like to hear that Dave Meltzer gave this 5 stars, not that I believe in his system or anything, but the fact that he never gives anything in WWE like 5 stars, like aside from like I think the last time he gave it was a Cody match against Cena at SummerSlam. This like that's and that was like the first one in like 2 or 3 years that he's given 5 stars. So that's kind of crazy. And now he's giving another one. I definitely gotta go back and watch this match. I thoroughly enjoyed the Cena Cody match, so this one's probably just as good. Because the ending that I saw was amazing, so I'm guessing the rest of the match is pretty good too. So definitely gotta go back and watch that. The only thing I don't like about these kind of matches is like when they have like these little gimmick matches. It's like they hit them with like even any hardcore match, they hit them with those like trash cans that are like made of like tinfoil, or like any I don't know what's in this match, but like anything that's like, made flimsily and they hit them and they try to sell it like it's a real thing. Like that's what pisses me off. So this being a Donnybrook match and these guys being too big, like what do you call it? Kind of like not strong, but they're like they can take damage. These guys. So like I'd rather see them use like real weapons rather than like fake ones like paper mache or whatever, that kind of stuff. All right, that brings us to the final match of the evening, which is John Cena versus Logan Paul. Logan Paul came out first for normal entrance. Then John Cena came out and the crowd erupted and they sang his song super loud. The whole arena was probably shaking. I wish what's so stupid? Lately they've been showing the decibel meter for like certain things, but they didn't show it for this. And this was super loud. So why would they show it the decibel meter for this? Because I think last time they were in Lyon, the police were called that it was too loud. So like in this seemed like even louder because I think it was a bigger crowd. So like they should have had the decibel meter showing like how unless it was off the charts and it could have been red. That could be a possibility. But this was definitely the loudest I've heard it. And they were singing his song and everything, so it was pretty cool. The match started out with a lot of Logan Paul action. He was kind of taunting Cena, doing all these like lackadaisical moves and like nonchalant pins and all that kind of stuff. It was very Logan Paul heavy in the beginning of the match, and he was showing off his athleticism and stuff like that, and mocking Cena a lot, even using some of his own taunts and moves. Eventually, after a bunch of super like I said nonchalant pins, Cena was able to catch Logan Paul in an AA. Logan Paul kicked out of this one at like 2.999999999. It was crazy how close it was to a 3. Paul then got back up and he became angry that like like he couldn't put Cena away because he kept hitting him with all these crazy moves, new moves that we saw, like a European uppercut and Michael Cole even shouted out Cesaro in that, which is kind of crazy. He hit some other moves, like he hit the zigzag as well. He hit the end of date. There's a bunch of moves, like new moves that you saw here. Cena went back to doing the pop rocks again, as well as the Hurricane Rana. So there's a lot of good action. This is a very good match, I thought, in my opinion. They're both showed off like wrestling, which Paul's very athletic, but like he's not that good of a wrestler. Cena's like okay, but both of them really impressed me in this match. But like Cena being Logan Paul being the cocky heel, he was using a lot of like stupid pins and stuff like that, and Cena kept kicking out. Oh yeah, Cena also did a Styles Clash, and Logan Paul kicked out of that. Logan Paul kicked out of like 3 AAs, a Styles Clash, an End of Days. He kicked out of everything, which is very impressive. We saw flying elbows. The only thing we didn't see was the Logan Paul jumping off the announcer, off the turnbuckle through the announcer table. But I guess they're only going to say those for the big 4 PLEs. Seems like he only does them with the big 4 PLEs. Then he also hit Cena with his titanium fist, or whatever you want to call it, and Cena kicked out. I think Cena went for an attitude adjustment, avalanche attitude adjustment, but Paul countered that into I think his, what do you call it? He has a new move name called something. It's a frog splash, but he has some name for it, something Paul something. It has the word Paul in it. But yeah, he did the frog splash. Cena kicked out of that. Eventually at the end, Cena went for an attitude adjustment, hit it, went for another one, and Logan Paul actually countered it, which is kind of stupid that he kicked counter out of an attitude adjustment that he just took right after taking an attitude adjustment, which makes no sense. He went for his titanium fist. Cena ducked that, hit him with another attitude adjustment, and got the 1, 2, 3, and the crowd went crazy. Cena had his final farewell as well. I really thought this should have ended the night, which it did, in my opinion. So that's why it's the last match of the night for me. But this should have probably. What do you think? Do you think this should have been the end? Last match?
I don't know, because honestly, I don't know. Because like I said, I enjoyed Seth's performance in his match. Well, between him and Punk as well. And then you had, well, I guess that ending it with Becky didn't need to happen either. But yeah, either one of these, I guess, could have been the main event, and people would have went home satisfied. But yeah, I think this was definitely one of Cena's better matches that he's had in this whole year retirement tour. Logan Paul, I mean, he's been looked like a star, but he looked like a star in this match. And like we said before, and say it again, like despite how you may feel about him personally, you can't deny the talent that he is in the ring. He will be a world champion at some point. Just clock it, he will be. But yeah, I thought they put on a really great match. Like I said, it was one of Cena's better ones since he's been back, and you can tell. I think he's really glad to not be a heel anymore. Because then he can take it all in of the final last few months of his so-called retirement. Wrestlers and athletes say they were going to retire all the time. They don't all stay retired, so we'll see. But yeah, I thought it was a great match. And like I said, either this or the world title match could have made it, and would have went home happy.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that should have been having like Cena walk off at the end would have been good for the French audience. That would have been great to see. But I guess, other than that, it was still a great match. I thought it was still a great match, and I had a good time with this. I watched it all the way through, so didn't fall asleep or anything.
Yeah. Were you expecting Brock Lesnar
Tonight? No. He hasn't really traveled.
They teased it. Well, I guess they could always rewrite it, but I think when they were I guess SmackDown was in Dublin, not this past Friday, but I'm pretty sure it was last Friday, where when Cena was like leaving the building, and Nick Aldis was like, "Hey, just got off the phone with Brock," and he says, and he gets cut off because Logan punched John in the face.
Yeah.
But he mentioned Paris, so that's why I thought something was going to happen with that. But yeah, I just thought that was weird that didn't get addressed. But
Yeah.
they could rewrite something else that what he meant was, after your match in Paris, you're going to face me or something like that.
Yeah, probably WrestlePalooza or Survivor Series.
Yeah.
But not to mention, this is Cena's which is crazy to hear, but it's his 99th PLE win. You think he'd have more than 99, but it's his 99th PLE win. I really thought he'd have more than that, but yes. So the next one he wins, if he does win one more at a PLE, and there's only like 2 left for him, WrestlePalooza and Survivor Series, because I don't. Saturday Night's main event is on a PLE, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's got 50. He's got to win one of them to get up to 100 PLE victories. I'm assuming he's gonna lose one and win one. That's what I think.
Have you? I was gonna say also speaking of Cena, have you seen the rumor mill speculation, or maybe just fans fantasy booking, because Edge's contract is up with AEW in November, and I don't think they do 90-day or 30-day clauses.
Some of them do.
like
Some of them do. For some of them, yeah.
Oh, okay. They wanted Cena's last match to be against one of his greatest rivals of Edge. I If this was earlier in the year, I mean, never say never, it's wrestling. But I mean, while that would be fun and cool, um, I don't know. I don't think that will happen.
I think what would be cool is kind of what Dolph Ziggler and I think Coach were talking about on their podcast, where have Saturday Night's main event be like an entire Cena tribute, because it's going to be in Boston or whatever, or Newbury, wherever it's going to be. It's going to be Massachusetts somewhere.
Okay.
And have it be all Cena, or at least the last 2 hours of it be Cena. Because this time, you know how they have commercials and stuff during it. There's only like usually 3 matches and like so many commercials. This time it's gonna be like kind of like a PLE where there's no commercials, and it's gonna be extended by some time. I think because it's Cena's last thing, right? Last hurrah. They suggested, why don't you do like a gauntlet match, where it has like his history come through. Doesn't have to be. Could be new guys too. Could be like Braun Breaker come through, whatever. Then at the end, it's like the second to last guy will be Edge, and it'll be a surprise, and everyone will go crazy, right? And that'd be awesome to see Edge versus Cena. Like, I mean, you can't have like full blown out matches, because Cena, if Cena's gonna be wrestling back to back to back to back, that's gonna be tough for him to do that. But maybe just have like a little one, like just like have like hit beats here and there, right?
Yeah, or bring it back. I mean, maybe not just for a title, but just do an open challenge.
Yeah. No, but this is gonna be back to back to back. So like first Braun Breaker will come out, he'll beat Braun Breaker or lose to Braun Breaker. Then he'll have like like someone else that he wants to face, like Dominic Mysterio, and then like AJ Styles, and then right after that, like this is like in succession. And then like the second to last guy will be Edge, and everyone will go crazy thinking that's the last guy. And then right when he's about to walk out of the ring, it's you hear, "If you smell la 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 la," that could end the whole feud with like him causing Rock to Rock turning causing a heel. And like Cena hits an AA and then pins the Rock and then leaves, kind of thing. Because they each won one match at WrestleMania, so they still need one to. Unless they want to end it like that, 1-1 maybe. I don't know, but yeah, I think it'll be like having a gauntlet match is really cool. But with that said, let's go to our. Speaking of the Rock and Cena, go to our finishers here. Alicia, your low point, your high point, and overall grade.
Yeah, low point, I think I'm just going to give to the Becky and Nikki finish, mainly because, like I said, it ended so abruptly, and I thought at that point they were starting to get a rhythm going on. High point, I'm definitely giving to the Donnybrook match. Like I said, it truly was a banger, as Sheamus would say. And I think overall, I think I would just give it like a B-, because while all the matches had like some great stuff going on, I feel like the middle of it dragged a little bit. But overall, I do think they pulled it off.
For me, the low point, same thing. Nikki Bella thing. The other match I saw, what I thought were the low lights, and I thought that was awful. So I'm glad I slept through it. But that's why I'll probably give the low point. The high point, I'll give the Cena Paul match. I thought it was a very good match, back and forth. They did an amazing job. And for the grade, as the Clash in Paris logo has a big C in it, I will give it a C. I thought, I fell asleep through most of the PLE. I was very exhausted this weekend, so I couldn't really focus on it. But I'm gonna go back and definitely watch some of those moments that you've been talking about to see them. Definitely the Donnybrook match and some other things. But
yeah. I will say, I did like the scope. I mean, I think we mentioned this last PLE too. The scope of the. Do we still call it Titantrons?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I call them that.
I do love like the big scale that they are, and how it can showcase more of an entrance.
And the set design too.
Yeah, with the Eiffel Tower in the middle as well. And it's cool that you got to see that again on Raw the next night as well, because they were in the same building, I think. I would presume, because they don't have that big set piece on regular Raws, right?
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I was just like Mandela affected my brain, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. They've been, I mean, we always give shout out to the production team because they almost always kill it every time. But yeah, but just seeing it in the scope of it, I think it also came to mind because before that, I was at the park with the kids and there was these two guys talking about AEW versus WWE and the difference a bit and all that because I think
Production,
one guy
yeah.
hadn't seen what was going on because because like we said, Clash was on at 2 p.m. so he was watching once kids were at the park. I didn't butt in, but when I got home and like saw it, I was like, well, yeah, well, that is a big difference with WWE versus AEW. No matter what you prefer, like to watch, WWE is the Disneyland of wrestling. So their scope of they were talking about ticket prices and things like that, which understandably it's a lot. But when you also go and see the production value of what you're getting versus an AEW show outside of their big pay-per-views, um, that set design reminded me of why you might get a higher ticket price. Besides, of course, WWE being the big juggernaut, like I said, Disneyland of the wrestling.
All right, just where can we find you? And then you been up to anything? Releasing anything or no?
Not necessarily. That's why I was like, I don't even need to plug myself because there's nothing really worth that I've done lately because life is just lifing, like just motherhood and also going through some health issues. So I haven't even like thought about filming things. But if I do try to venture back into that creative content world, you guys will be the first to know.
All right, as for us, you'll find us here covering WrestlePalooza, which is the former ECW PLE. Now it's the WWE PLE, which should be held on September 20th, which is George R.R. Martin's birthday. And then we will be covering it on September 22nd, which is the first day of fall. So getting closer to winter, my favorite season. So winter is coming, hopefully, and we'll get a lot of snow this year. Until then, guys, remember, you guys are all idiots, and the secret boss is always right. We'll see you next time.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays.